Wholeness to the tribe. We back for another episode of Shadow Work Sundays, where we bringing shadow work to Shadow Work Sundays. You dig what I'm saying? I'm the guy Ak Khalil, and today's title for today's episode is "My Childhood Traumas Broke My Marriage," and I'm here interviewing the God King Manifest and the Goddess Tate. So we finna keep it transparent. We finna take y'all to the inner child, take y'all back through tons of different memories, tons of different shadow work, tons of different just experiences just to help y'all throughout y'all journey, and in turn help these two express themselves and do shadow work. You dig what I'm saying? So wholeness to the tribe, wholeness to the God, wholeness to the goddess. We here, man. Y'all ready?
Well, first, I already know, I just want to say gratitude to the tribe, for actually being real as y'all are to let us actually be vulnerable and express ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And to actually speak the truth, you know what I'm saying? And to release and to be real, and authentic, you know what I mean? And so gratitude to Source, gratitude to Kai, gratitude to Tay, you know what I'm saying? And yes, I am ready.
I say, how you feeling, goddess?
I'm feeling a little bit nervous, but I'm ready.
I'm nervous too. I think King is too. You know what I'm saying? So we finna alchemize that right here, right now. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
I say.
Yeah, to get started, how did y'all meet? You know what I'm saying? How did all this start?
I'm gonna let you, know what I'm saying, take that away. I've obviously told many different forms of this story, but let's say take it away.
Well, we met officially in third grade, and Jealousy was, what they would, I guess, technically say a problem child, I guess. But he was always so sweet to me. So we met in third grade in school actually, and he was sweet. He was always really sweet to me. I always gave him my little snacks and stuff like that. So we kind of bonded, with me being able to give and him, just loving me for, always wanting to share. And, I guess I showed love at that time, But third grade is when we met in school.
That's deep. That's third grade. That's a long time. I can't even remember when I was in third grade. Like
I remember it was, yeah.
What's deep is I don't remember a lot about third grade, but I remember this part of third grade. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I used to flirt. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I had that sauce. You know what I mean? So, I would talk that talk. You know what I mean? And compliment the doings and the works of her mother. You know what I'm saying?
As in telling me he liked my bows and all that. He was trying to be slick and all that, like have me all in my feelings that early. Yeah. So.
And so, just to kind of go in more on that, we actually ended up at the same church. You know what I'm saying? The same church is. So whenever my mother left this church and went to this church, her mother and her family left this church and went to this church as well. So in our childhood, we started off at the same school, but then we ended up always at the same church. You know what I'm saying? And both of our parents are very, very deep in church. You know what I'm saying? Very deep. Yeah. And I'm talking about, or in leadership. So praise dance this and this and that. They got all this going on. And so definitely they in leadership. And so we always was around each other due to that factor as well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then I would disappear. So you can kind of tell that aspect of it, of where she would see me and then she wouldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely true. We would be, just linked up and it'd be all regular for weeks at a time. And then all of a sudden, like he would be gone And his mama, she have her own story on what's going on or whatever, but he'll be gone for months at a time where it's like, oh Sam, like at that point he was a good friend to me. So it was just
Yeah.
like, he would be gone and usually it was either, like TYC or he done ran away and he's staying with friends or something like that. But yes, it
Yeah.
definitely
So
disappeared for a
that
while at
that's
a
kind
time.
that's kind of, not to cut you off, but that's kind of where the codependency started. You know what I'm saying, within y'all marriage is where it's y'all together and then apart. You know what I'm saying, and then wanting to be next to this person or even just seeing him talking to him. You know what I'm saying. So that's deep. Can you got anything out of that?
Now you said about the codependence. I think that just to go in deeper, just um, we actually shared a lot of deep traumas with each other. Like things we probably wouldn't tell nobody else. You know what I'm saying? We would actually tell each other. At a very young age. I guess I could say we both lack trust. Due to our parents and different things. So we confided in each other. You know what I'm saying? With some of those, I would say, deepest, darkest secrets. Um, and that type of vulnerability, especially for me, or I would say both of us, you know what I'm saying, was not shown like to anyone else. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like, as children, we were already helping each other with shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
Not really knowing what it was, you know what I mean? But like, we were already kind of like, what'd you say?
I said just being a friend.
Exactly. Being that safe space for each other at that time.
So I'm gonna take it to a little shadow work question, 'cause since we talking about codependency and yeah, so um throughout y'all relationship and marriage, was there ever a time where like you tried to change the other person by being codependent to their needs? If that makes sense.
Definitely makes sense. You want to start this, or you want me to start
Go
this?
ahead. Yeah, you go ahead.
Um, it's such a great question. It's such a deep question that I have to really marinate on. I can't just respond to it just impulsively, but really think and so and feel and reflect. So yes, definitely. And so I feel like it's so many things that that question is it's a loaded question. So, I will start with my mother. I feel like that the love that I didn't get from my mother, that I didn't receive from my mother, the compassion, her actually just seeing me and receiving me for me completely, you know, um, I was depending on Tay for that, to fill that void, to kind of like make me feel important. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like the ultimate validation. You know what I'm saying? And really from the divine feminine. Because when I was younger, you know what I'm saying, before, like obviously me and Tay were, we were friends, we were best friends, this whole time. But I'm out here in the streets, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here, I got all type of relationships. I'm dating all type of females and doing all type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm constantly getting my heart broke over and over and over and over and over again because I'm looking for this certain type of love. But what's so deep is that every woman that I'm talking to know about Tay. Even if I haven't talked to her in 2 years, I'm always subconsciously looking for this certain type of love. Like this love of Tay. There's nothing like the love of Tay. You see what I'm saying? So and I compared that to the love of a mother, because of how nurturing she was. So I feel like that made me very, very, very codependent on her, even energetically from that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that for now.
I would just say, for me, it was having trust broken with my father as a child and starting to distrust men, you know, completely, because obviously the person that when you're a kid, like that person, that father figure is a very important. And I had mistrust in that area. So I just stopped trusting men. But Jodeci was someone I could confide into and love and be there for me. And I became codependent in that area just because he was a man that I felt like I could trust, and instead of, I guess, dealing with my own hurt and my childhood trauma, it was just like he made it better. So I just allowed that to kind of just consume me, like this is what makes it better, and I became codependent that way.
So I love both responses, by the way. I just want to kind of turn the lens towards those traumas and y'all having the awareness of the root in them, and how now what actions y'all were taking, even though y'all are finding that love, how that still is in a sense building up or healing that said trauma, but also feeding into it because of certain awarenesses that y'all didn't have just about each other and how y'all just interacted. You dig what I'm saying? So how do you feel about the codependency that you are feeding into? Like, are you aware of the way that it can mold somebody into that very thing that you're trying to heal your trauma of? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. For me, I didn't, because of my traumas and, Jodeci being that safe place, I wasn't worried about healing that trauma. I was just worried about moving forward, thinking that I could just move forward without that healing because he made it better for me. So that codependency, although it felt comforting and felt great and it helped me to try to move forward, but I didn't heal. So, that's where it made it a bad thing because I wasn't healing. I was just allowing, his peace, me being able to trust in a man in itself to, not heal that area of myself.
Got anything to add, King?
I feel like it handicapped me in certain ways. You know what I'm saying? The way that I depended on her love, it handicapped me as a man, but also as like it handicapped my feelings. Like I would feel through her. Like the episode we have trophies of love, that came from Tay, her reflecting on looking at my life and knowing all these things, and like, yo, you're not really embodying love and accepting that, you just putting it up as trophy. So I would feel through her. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I couldn't cry unless I was around her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would go through deep, dark traumas and I would break when I'm around her. Like it's like she was that. And so, in return, when I had to deal with my feelings on my own, all I would project is anger because that's all I knew how to really embody. That's what I was taught. That's how I survived. You know what I'm saying? Every time that I came back, to her technically, even as a child, 15, 14, 13, 16, I'm in and out of jail in the streets and I'm coming back. That whole time I survived because of anger, almost is what I was thinking. It's because of this feeling, this. But when I was around her, she made me break. But the point is, like I said, I couldn't do that with myself. So Then, honestly, to get to an aspect, whenever she started to hurt me, now I don't, now all I have is anger. I don't even have, where do I feel now? Because the place that I feel comfortable feeling now, I don't feel comfortable. Now I have the same trust issue that she has with her father, now I have with her. And now this whole thing has came around like a domino effect. And I'm like, damn. And now I'm stuck with anger. And then I realized, damn, this whole time, as much as she was helping me, I should have been feeling this whole time. I should have been trying to figure out how to feel. How do I feel about my mother? How do I
So
feel about my father? You know what I mean?
not to cut you off, but you kind of, I just want to ask this question because you kind of going into the next question for both of y'all. Was there ever a time that you mistake or mistaken compulsive behaviors for love and affection, and how did that make you feel?
You said compulsive, right? I just want to
Yep,
confirm that.
yep. Compulsive behaviors. Have you ever mistaken compulsive behaviors for love and affection?
How you vibrating with that? How does that resonate with you, Tay?
I would just say, I already understood that, you know, like Jodeci's, a lot of Jodeci's behavior was based on trauma. So I, even though maybe he was reacting in anger because of something, I always knew, like, I always felt like, oh, it was okay because, he doesn't know necessarily, I guess, how to express himself in that way. And I did look at it as love. Like, he loved me enough to show me, where he was. But really, I was enabling a feeling. I was enabling like that anger that he showed towards, everything, anything that could happen. Like I was able to, I took it as love, like because I understood that he was, just expressing himself. So I didn't want. It wasn't that I was trying to change it or make it different or anything like that. I was just more so, you know, accepting it as a love because he was just showing me what his true self, at that time. So yeah, definitely compulsive behaviors for Josie for me that I saw was that anger, and I took it as love because he didn't know how to express a lot of different things. He would look at, if somebody died, if somebody lied to him, if somebody, like, all anger would come up, even though he was hurt or whatever, anger would come up. And so I would accept that as love because I knew that he didn't know how to process it. And that's his immediate response to things. So I did accept that as love. I did accept that as, him showing me the true him versus like challenging him to actually feel what he needed to be feeling. Like, no, this is sadness. You're upset because you're sad. And, so I guess, yeah, for sure. I definitely accepted a lot of compulsive behaviors in the sense of anger as love because I felt he didn't really just know how to express it.
Got anything to add, King?
I ain't gonna lie. That one definitely took me in my emotions. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't necessarily holding back tears, but they didn't fully manifest on my face. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think that that's a deep perspective, and I didn't know that, and that I didn't have that perspective on that. And I think that was deep. It just gave me because it's true. When I'm listening, it's very true. Like she definitely accepted me, and I think that was like a key factor in our friendship or us being best friends is that it didn't matter what we came with, we accepted it. You know, um, and truthfully, that was probably the most beautiful toxic part of our relationship the whole time.
Yeah.
Is that we didn't have examples. So as we built this love and realized, okay, we want to be married, we want this and this and that, we want to, and then being in the church, you know what I'm saying? So, me being a minister at that time, you know what I'm saying? So now I came from the streets, I knew all this. Now I'm in the church, I'm a minister, I'm doing this, and now I don't want to be shacking. We don't want to be shacking. So we're like, okay, how do we do this? So we're doing it, we want to do it the right way. But trying to do that, still don't have no examples. We don't have nobody. The cold thing is all of our elders are looking to us. We are the golden story. We are the hope of love. But we don't know what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? But we're trying to do everything we can. But from a church aspect, like she said, we're just told to persevere, but with no tools. So we're almost taught to demonize us actually feeling, because if you're feeling, then Satan got your ass. Something's wrong with you, and it's
So
like, my nigga, something is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not to cut you off, so I wanted to ask this then. For the both of y'all, Tay and King, was it ever triggering? Which I'm sure it was, but was it ever triggering to the point to where you couldn't take these compulsive behaviors because they brought you flashbacks of your childhood traumas? Or,
100%.
or okay,
Yeah, 100%. Anger was definitely, that was always the biggest thing in our relationship when it came to me, looking at my husband. Like he used anger in every situation, because that's how he had to process, how he had to survive even. He couldn't be hurt because people look at him as weak because he out here in the streets and doing his own thing. So anger was that thing. So anytime that we came to a impasse or an issue or something that we needed to overcome as a married couple, like anger would be very much so, there in our relationship. And for me, definitely, my childhood trauma is with my father, and it was with mistrust, and it felt like, things of anger and things like that. So it definitely gave flashbacks sometimes, and maybe not at the very beginning, but as we continue to move forward and that anger just grew, in the relationship, it definitely brought back flashback, and definitely even hindered the shadow work, because it's like, oh no, you know what, I'm going to step back from this. I'm not gonna pursue this any further, because clearly this isn't good for either of us. Versus trying to, I guess, face things head on. Like, no, even though there's anger here, I need to, figure this out. We need to figure out where the anger is coming from, or where what the root of this is, so that we can actually try to tackle whatever this is in the marriage that is causing this anger. So definitely, yeah.
I don't remember the question. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be 1,000% in. I'll be listening. We can't hear you, bro. I think you're on mute.
I said, I said I'm sure it was triggering, but like, were you ever triggered by the compulsive behaviors because you were so immersed in the love for the person? Like the love blinded the trigger to the point to where you were aware of it, but you was like,
Well, I think that was the perspective of, to an extent, what we would call the love when we first got into it. You know what I'm saying? It is to sacrifice yourself for your bride, like Christ did the church. It is to, for her to be the Proverbs 31 woman. You know, it is that is what we walked into. So I think that, truthfully, the feelings, the pain, the trauma, the reality check that we started to get in the marriage was real. But the basis of what the idea of love that we created was an illusion. because we created love based off of these illusions that people gave us of what, like, it's like people gave us almost like the backwards codes of a fantasy, and not the real codes of how you actually manifest that and actually become that and really grow. And so as we grew and we both had pain, the projection and all these different aspects of what we're seeing, it happened because we started to actually project the pain on each other based off of the pain we had put on each other. So now
Exactly.
it's like you
Double
gotta,
trouble.
I'm gonna just say a pile of shit, and then you just add
Double
more on
trouble.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Double trouble. Matt,
yeah.
so you just knocked off the next question I was gonna ask. Which was there ever a time in your marriage that you felt that love wasn't real, and you just broke down the whole illusion? So do you have any thoughts about that, Tay?
Could you ask it again? I didn't hear you.
Was there ever a time in your marriage that you felt like the love wasn't real or an illusion?
So I would say, I never thought that our love wasn't real, you know, but I did, at some point felt like the happiness that we had was an illusion based on things that we were, taught, or the things that we, to be honest, when we got married at 21. And our perspective of getting married was because we didn't want to live in sin. We knew we wanted to be together. We were going to be living in the same home. And, the church that we were going to, like, made it feel like that marriage was the only option to not live in sin. So, like, yeah, it, when I was thinking back to that, it was like maybe we weren't prepared or ready for it, but because of the illusion that was provided to us by the church, we rushed into it so that we can be married and not living in sin. So I feel like that would be the only thing, for me, where I felt like, okay, this is definitely an illusion that was put upon us based on, trying to live not in sin based on the church.
And not saying that we misuse the perspective of our relationship, but I feel like I can speak for me. When I dealt with every female that I dealt with when I was younger, I always came back to Tay because of that love, and I felt, and it was that relationship, it was that connection. But I always knew she was my best friend, and we always knew that vice versa. And I think that due to us not understanding our trauma, understanding everything that Tay just said, we came into this oneness with a trauma so strong that it made an energy so strong that it made this love feel so explosive, but not knowing that the counter aspect of this love, of if see, I my one of my biggest flaws was having Tay on a pedestal, and she was told me for years, don't do that. I had her on the pedestal for 5 years at least. I'm talking about the high, and I'm talking about my whole life, but 5 years of our marriage on a pedestal, like very high up. And when that energy did show a counter, and I started to deal with those emotions that whole time, but it was building up, and I'm like, yo, like, because I don't know how to not take this person off this pedestal. Like, this person is my everything, but also this person is like crushing my reality. It's like, how do I even comprehend these two things in the same reality when my whole life I've had to choose one of the two? You see what I'm saying? To actually survive, you can't feel and live, and you can't be. Is now our whole marriage? Then our marriage became like this, like ping pong with vibrations and emotions, where we're up the beginning of the day. By the time we put on this movie and this show, we down, and and now we arguing for the next 3 days. Then we're up for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then
So
boom,
so
you know.
let's talk about that then. Let's talk about the psychological fluctuation of energy that happens in those moments where y'all up and then y'all down? What it mentally is going through y'all head? What type of thoughts that y'all are having, whether they are projected at each other or just at the reality that y'all in because of certain decisions that y'all made or the other person made? Like, how does that affect you, and how does that affect the way that you carry out whatever you're doing from that high moment to that low moment?
I think that the up was that we were best friends, in the very beginning. So obviously we met at third grade, but then we became really good friends where we could talk to each other about anything at 14. And from there, it just grew from that. So I think that up was that we were always best friends. So it didn't matter what we were doing. We had times where, in the marriage where we didn't have anything and we were, on the floor playing Monopoly together, and we didn't have lights or something. Like we were, up. But that was even though that seems like a down, that was up. Like we could always be connected in a way that, made like, oh, this is the right thing to do. But then those downs were when we were really, projecting those fears that we had, from trauma that we've had in our past, and not allowing ourselves to really heal from them or grow from them, and just trying to just move forward as if they didn't happen, or ignore the growth that we were supposed to be having at that time. And that just made our downs super low, like, very low.
So, what about just even on a day-to-day basis where you have a up and a down? Like, what how does your how does it feel to express a positive vibration and be in these great thoughts? You know what I'm saying? But then as the day goes on, or you know what I'm saying, you may do something that trigger King, or King may do something that trigger you. Like, what is that tipping point psychologically that makes you go, either one of you, makes you go to the point of from, all right, this is just a debacle, to an argument, like a full-fledged argument? Like, what takes you to that point of just rage?
I think it's the triggers, like I had problems with trust, with my father as a child. So then whenever he did something that made me feel like I couldn't trust him, that takes it to a whole nother level, like to 10,
Look, hey, look,
like
let's just
it
keep it
being
raw,
triggered.
real. When we were younger, earlier in our marriage, I was a cheating Negro. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, I don't like this. What you how you're saying it. It's like, no, it's just like, I definitely like. She nowhere near right now. I could, with she, yeah. It's not like that. Nowhere near. I would say at in the final aspects of the marriage per se, but I would say like it was like that, and I was very out here and very much so doing the most. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a lot of triggers and a lot of things that she was having to deal with that was connected to her past. Because like once again, trusted men. You see what I'm saying? And I'm actually, she said how she felt about me. She had me on a pedestal too in certain aspects of her reality. And so when I'm breaking her trust, then that's kind of that counter energy. And then that comes up, and it's all psychological. Um, it's kind of deep that we talk because it's almost like the same thing. For me, the biggest thing for me that was broken was the same thing, was trust. And so, just being lied to so many times. Not really go into all type of details. I don't feel like really doing all that. But I would say just being lied to, and how important, like I'm a very loyal person. You know what I'm saying? Like tell you, Kai can even co-sign that. I'm all about loyalty. So to me, she was the most loyal person in the world, the most realest person in the world. She is the truth. So whenever all these lies is coming up, it's like it's psychologically, I'm not able to process it. So whenever we're watching certain things or certain things are happening that may, in my mind, connect with the truth, because I don't know what the truth is because I'm dealing with lies. So I'm like, I'm now whenever someone lies to you, then you put yourself in a position to create a million and one options. The mind is unlimited. So now I'm creating so much stuff. You know what I'm saying, of what the truth could be. And so when we're watching shows, that means since I have a million things in my head, a million things can trigger me in a show. A million things. So we're having an amazing day. And next thing you know, she's like, why he acting like that? And I ain't even want to be, bro, don't even talk to me. I'm on a different type. And we was just, we started watching this movie with the vibes. Had an amazing day. Probably went out, just went shopping somewhere, maybe went out somewhere, had a good time. And we could have an amazing day. And then boom. You know what I'm saying? Which at some point we should have realized, or even with me, I should have realized that I shouldn't have been just trying to deal with something. I was trying to deal with it, and in return, she was dealing with the effects of me trying to deal with it. And obviously, I was dealing with the effects of trying to get her to tell me and help me. I feel like she was the subscription or the prescription that was going to heal me by telling me whatever she told me. But at this point, she could tell me the truth a million times. I wouldn't believe her. But we're still moving forward. So now we're both getting psychologically beat because I don't believe her, nothing she's saying. And now what she's saying, she's like, yo, I'm giving everything I can. And it's psychological abuse, if you ask me. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm grateful for both of y'all responses. It definitely dropped a lot of gems. You dig what I'm saying? Because yeah, like that's why it's so intrinsic to just stay aware of what's going on and what you're watching, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Because that, if you're aware of even just that on a small scale doing shadow work, that's going to help you just pinpoint so many different things that trigger you. So I'm just grateful for that gem, for surely. So how throughout all of this, you know what I'm saying, this whole marriage, the trauma, the love, the high vibrations, low vibrations. Oh dang, what happened to King? Just for you, Goddess, since you're here. Going through the traumas, the just the love, the ups, the downs, you know what I'm saying? Everything throughout the relationship. Did you ever feel like you weren't doing enough in your marriage because you weren't doing enough for yourself?
Oh, 100%. Like I feel like at some point I did lose my own identity, in my marriage. Like my whole life was wrapped around Jodeci, and honestly, whenever you like lose your own identity, how can you do shadow work? Because you don't know who you are. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing. So you can't, properly heal yourself because you're so lost to yourself.
Right.
So yes, definitely um in the me being wrapped up in my marriage and just trying to keep that together, I wasn't healing myself. I wasn't worried about doing any shadow work, and I definitely wasn't worried about healing childhood trauma or anything like that. So that alone lets you know you're not doing enough.
Mm-hmm. Like were you aware of that disconnect? Like as far as, you know what I'm saying, you knowing you have certain traumas you have to heal and but you're like, so when you're so encompassed in another person, are you even thinking about like that disconnect as far as like, I'm attaching to this because I'm not attached to my traumas?
Well, when you start to separate yourself from self, like when you really start to detach yourself and just wrap yourself up into something else, then no, you don't. You're not aware. I was not aware that I was not, you know, um, effectively trying to heal traumas that I had. It didn't even come to my mind that I wasn't doing what I needed to do to heal me so that in the marriage there can be healing happening. So I no, definitely not.
That's interesting. So that's like this is just a question just for everybody. Like this is that what they mean when they say love is a double-edged sword? Like because you giving it is in you're not aware where it's supposed to be given because you like just throwing it this way so much. When it comes back, the recoil just hits you like, oh dang, I'm not doing this for me, and then you get like triggered. Is that what they mean by that? I can't hear you.
I definitely agree, and I feel like it's also it's like the iron sharpens iron type of thing. So love always has a lesson both sides. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like that, love is going to always create a balance. Now, whether that's the balance you desire or not, it's going to always create some type of vibration that actually is going to have a counter vibration. It can counter itself, like we talked about before, the zero and the zero, or the
Yeah.
one and the one.
Holding this to the tribe, man. How y'all enjoying this episode, man? Hope y'all got your pens and your pads out, you know what I'm saying? Just taking notes, you know what I'm saying? And just staying aware of areas in which they're dialoguing that connect to your shadow work or just your life in general, your traumas, you know what I'm saying? If you're an angry person, if you're a codependent person, or if you're a person that just, you know what I'm saying, you seeking love, pay attention to these downloads, these uploads. You dig what I'm saying? Because a lot of this is showing that we have to be accountable. You dig what I'm saying? With self. You dig? So I'm just grateful for the guy and the goddess for coming up and showing up to show us to be accountable and doing the shadow work so we can heal and get these downloads, especially within the realm of the relationships, you know what I'm saying, and marriage. Because I know all of us going through it, you know what I'm saying, as far as that right now. You know what I'm saying? The whole collective. So much gratitude to the just take it to the 3D plane. You dig what I'm saying? And just understanding how trauma and just being around people just in these vexing environments, you know what I'm saying, whatever, how it affects your physical vessel, your physical body. So how does your physical body play a factor in you not breaking the chains and opening up to your trauma or even just healing it? Like how did your physical body feed into you suppressing your trauma in certain ways?
I would say I mean, hopefully I'm answering this correctly, but I would just say from the aspect of I did a lot of things, you know what I'm saying, to my physical body, you know what I'm saying, at a young age. So, doing a lot of different drugs, um, all at one time, you know what I'm saying, doing a lot of different drugs. So, and really to suppress pain, you know what I mean, to live, to keep going, to actually like it's almost deep because I almost did the drugs to feel, at the same time to escape the feelings. It was like a big contradiction. And then also, I would say eating, you know what I'm saying? The way I ate certain ways, you know what I'm saying? I would actually say across the board, I didn't have no care at all for my physical body. You know what I'm saying? Like I damn near felt like I was Superman or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really have I didn't I would say that was probably, and I think that was out of fear. Even now I don't rock with going to the doctors and all that. And some part of that is connected to fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, I would say that I didn't start to, well, actually, I would say I started to heal my body before I started to heal my soul, or started to heal, connect my inner child. I actually started to, the beginning of my shadow work and the beginning of my self-love. And when I started to actually feel that type of love was actually, that's deep. But when I started to actually intake and like kind of take my body more serious, my health more serious, You know what I'm saying? Then that's the start of me going into the shadow work journey, the
That's deep.
enlightenment journey. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we talked about that. We talked about that. I think it was earlier or maybe yesterday. We was talking about shadow work and we can do all these things in the mental plane, but nothing ain't gonna happen if you won't put in action in the physical 3D physical
Yeah,
body. So that's deep.
I see.
Um, Goddess, do you have anything to add?
I would just say, in the sense of the physical body, definitely didn't take care of myself the way that I should have, in the beginning of this journey, just based on my own traumas. So, like, I wouldn't dress up or I wouldn't, make myself feel good about me, based on, how I felt on the inside. So, it definitely affected, the relationship. It definitely affected myself, where I just, it kind of didn't matter. The physical body didn't really matter at some point in my life, in my journey, in my marriage, just because I was just feeling like, well, I'm here. I felt like that was enough. I'm here,
I
so
think we all hit
really
that. Like,
opening my eyes to self-love and like, okay, I need to make myself feel better or feel good on the outside so that I can really start doing that transformation on the inside as well.
I say, I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? Because I was very transparent, and it's like I was saying, like we all. I feel like we all hit that point where it's like we literally. I said that before. Like, all right, God, source, I'm here. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just grateful again for y'all in these shadow codes and these light codes, man, for sure. Um,
I see.
yeah, let me
Gratitude to you, God. You know what I'm saying, for holding space.
no for surely. I may have asked this, but I think it's kind of different from that question. So how do you deal with the psychoanalysis of when a triggering argument goes too far with someone you love? Like how does it affect you as a person? Like
I think it depends on how that argument plays out. Yeah, I would say I battle between like the reason why I felt like I had to stand on that and stand on business and why I'm not necessarily wrong because of this, but also I battle with guilt because at the end of the day I love this person and I didn't want to say that or yell at them or whatever. So it's like damn, like so I go back and forth and psychologically like almost make myself crash. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because I'm going back and forth with this, like what they deserve based off of what I feel is real to me, and then based off of like, but I love them, and that guilt aspect, like they don't deserve to be treated like that, or be talked to like that, or to be yelled at, and then like that. You know what I'm saying? So I go back and forth, and that's what I've had to deal with. And so I ain't gonna lie. The cold thing is though is that has also been a manipulation for me to actually accept things that I actually shouldn't accept because I would actually ride out with the guilt part because I should have never made the toxic action that I made. And so I made this toxic action based off of a real feeling. I had the right to feel some type of way, but I didn't have a right to act the way I acted. So then now I have guilt and I spin the block and put myself back in the same situation when I really should be standing on it and trying to figure out how to love myself through the situation. So I hope that answered your question.
no, it definitely did. It definitely did.
For
What about
me, I would shut down. I would, like, I'm
you
shutting
said
down, and this
shut
is more
down?
so in the past. I would just shut down. If it was too much for me, or if it felt too triggering for me, like I would feel like, oh yeah, I can just shut down because, I don't know what to do at this point, and I feel like definitely what I've learned in this marriage and in this relationship is just that's that's definitely not the answer. It's gonna keep coming back up. Shutting down is not gonna be an option if you want to move past a issue or a trigger. Emotionally, shutting down is not gonna be the option you want to take because if you don't see it through, then yeah, it's just gonna keep coming back up. You're gonna keep coming back to that same position. So Yeah, but definitely mine was to shut down at some point.
I would love to build on that a little bit more because that's my trauma response all day is
Hmm.
freeze. Like I'm a freeze up. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna go the other way, and I'm just not gonna deal with it no more because I know I have the power to simply choose that. You dig what I'm saying? So knowing that, especially knowing that's not the right choice in certain situations, what is the like how do you get to the point of where you don't freeze, like you know you're freezing, but like what is your thought process, what is your emotion, like what is driving you to break that chain of you freezing up and shutting down in those moments so that you can break that cycle of that trauma response and do the shadow work?
Honestly, really just realizing that I'm gonna have to face it at some point. And I did this for years where I was shut down, but then, in this relationship, like Jodeci let me know, like this isn't an option. Like that you can't shut down, because at the end of the day, like when you shut down and you cut whatever this is off without like coming to some kind of resolution or something like that, it's gonna come back up. It don't matter whether you are thinking like, okay, this is I can just move forward without dealing with this. Like that, it's not gonna. So for me, have understanding that no matter what, I'm gonna have to face this. So whether it's today or 2 weeks down the line or even 2 years down the line, you're gonna face it. And a lot of times when you allow it to just kind of build up and just continue to just shut down, shut down, shut down, you're gonna it's gonna be even harder when you actually start to face it, because you've allowed it to grow in such a way, because you've shut down and allowed it to just, I guess, simmer, without really just dealing with it. It becomes much bigger, because I've dealt with things where I did shut down and I'm just walking away and I'm just like, well, this is best for me. This is what's the best thing for me. But at the same time, it was like, oh, this wasn't what was best for me. Because now I'm dealing with this exact same thing, and it feels even harder. It feels even more like now I got other stuff that I built on top of this, because I shut it down. So I think for me to really just break past it is, number one, realizing that it was a trigger for Jodeci, and obviously we were in a relationship that, so I had to, like, I guess, move forward. So understanding that it was a trigger, just thinking that I could shut down, but then also understanding that no matter what, no matter whether I shut down not today, I'm gonna deal with the same issue. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be where I can just walk away from it and not really deal with it. Even if it's,
Yeah,
like I said, weeks or years down the line, like it's gonna be dealt with. You're
yeah,
gonna
it's
come back
deep.
to the same exact space that you shut down on.
It's deep because it manipulate ourselves into denial so we don't got to deal with none of that. You know what I'm saying? And like speaking on manipulation and denial, like was there ever times to where it's like you guys experienced something and y'all went through something, but you manipulated yourself into denial about the situation or experience?
Well, kind of what you said, whenever you shut down, that is manipulation to self. That is letting self feel like, well, I don't have to deal with this. That's manipulation in itself. Like, which probably is the worst type of manipulation, like just thinking that you can just shut something down and then not have to deal with it at all. Which is why it is harder when you move forward. So I would say yes, the shutting down was definitely manipulation, but also I think that in this particular relationship, because of, you know, we started this, based on like religion and church and things like that. I think that that was also manipulation. Maybe, um, maybe if we had stopped to really grasp what we were wanting to move forward in, like what we wanted in life, like instead of like allowing other people, around us to, I guess, tell us what we were supposed to be doing right now, because the love was real. Like that's what I can say, was real, but it was manipulated into so many different areas because of the people around us, as well as us not allowing ourselves to grow. Like when you kind of stunt your growth, when you kind of not do the shadow work that needs to be done, or not heal areas that need to be healed, like that's manipulation to self. So yeah.
You got anything there, King?
I'm contemplating because I feel like I'm about to play a song, but I'm contemplating if this is. So before I play this song, I want to speak a little bit more about manipulation. I want to speak a little bit more about. I want to kind of set the tone. So the reason why manipulation is such a big thing with this relationship, and the brokenness of the marriage that we experienced, and what essentially broke the marriage, was manipulation. And that manipulation, it hurts so much because manipulation is the illusion to create something, to make something seem fake. I mean, it is fake. That's the whole point. But Tay is the realest thing I knew. You know what I'm saying? And so once I discovered that she was, technically manipulating me, it made me manipulate myself, because why would I want to believe that? And we're talking about a lie. So at some point, my mind, with all the options that I can create, I've created options that make her truth make sense too. So I've created.
It's like me and you doing shit.
literally. So I manipulated myself to a point where I created two big realities. One with all the lies that she told me, whatever. The other one with every reason and every truth why those things wasn't lies. Why she was telling me the truth, because she's the realest thing ever. Why would she lie to me? It don't make sense. It's not. So then now in this world, I'm totally manipulated, because sometimes she's living with me and I'm 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in this world. And she's like, bro, what the hell? We was just rocking. I'll say, you know what? It's all good. We good. We ain't, and next thing you know, I'm projecting. And it's because I created these realms of manipulation within myself based off of the manipulation that was presented to me. And it was only such manipulation because, like I said, like she's talked about before, the canvas that was being presented, I know it was authentic. So I'm like, how? And so as I present, now the song I'm about to go into is actually, I was gonna play another song first, but I'm gonna play this song first, which is Heaven Before the Afterlife. And I feel like in this song I actually speak about, the manipulation, and I kind of speak on the manipulation of me manipulating myself and just the conversation with self about the situation. But also I speak on, whenever you break through out of the illusion and actually see things from a bigger perspective, you know what I'm saying, then you receive heaven before the afterlife. Like this situation, we're both having to die to many parts of ourselves to rebirth this new aspect of us, and so I've talked about it plenty of times on the show, how the pain that I've been through, that Tay put me through, it birthed the King manifest that y'all see. So as dark and as painful and as angry and as frustrated and as broken as I was, that also was a part of my journey and what was supposed to be a part of here. She gave me big shadow codes and activations through that. And now through this separation, and we would call a transition and transformation that we're going through right now, she's getting those big activations. You know what I'm saying? And so in this song, we say the heaven, the afterlife, the heaven part, we're both receiving inklings right now of heaven through our sacrifice right now. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I want to set the tone for this record. You got anything to say, Tay, before you obviously you heard the song, but if you just anything to add to that, I said a lot.
You did, but no.
All right,
I was here.
let's get it. This is King Manifest, Heaven Before the Afterlife, unmastered version.
Yeah. Can I talk to me? Okay, cool. Gratitude. Tell me how I'm supposed to feel. Realest person in my life. Really wasn't that real. You lied to my face and I lied to myself. Since I can't love you, I learned to love myself. Would you believe that I blame myself? Now this ain't the cards I dealt. People see the joy, but don't see the tears. People see the love, but don't see the fear. Man, you had me scared of love. How can somebody hurt me this bad in love? That was a mind fuck. How would you define us? In high dimensions, I'm telling lower vibrations, it's time up. I made my mind up. There is not a us. I made my mind up. There is not a us. I made my mind up. There is not a us. I made my mind up. There is not a why I feel like leaving you is leaving me. Long talks with my family. Pick up, Trial. Everything ain't what it seemed to be. I'm sorry to let you know this. Everything ain't what it seems. Started to hate the scenery. I would escape for inner peace, trying to escape the energy of all these memories. Is anybody feeling me? Man, I got you, bro. I got you. Talks hit different with sources. Thoughts of getting a divorce. Truth is, it hurt before I made the choice. Try to ignore the voice. Me, what I look like, ignoring my soul. With all this concrete full of snow, I still see a rose. The rainbow after the storm, the promise of the chosen ones. The shadow work that I have done, I'm watching who I become. Christ. I knew I would live a different life, born in the darker light, so much sacrifice for heaven before the afterlife. And that's so powerful. I say heaven before the I say source. Christ was a sacrifice, and now we can reach these levels of ascension without sacrificing our avatar. We're making sacrifices in this reality that are a part of our journeys, self-mastery. I say, don't take it personal, family. Do the work, clear the energy, and accept the upgrades of your sacrifice. Okay? I say, much gratitude, God. I'm definitely tap in on that. Big energy!
Very, very powerful record, man. Very, very powerful. That beat, I'm gonna need that. I like that. Yeah, I need that. But yes, man, that record, it screams shadow work, and it screams just awareness. Like, that's the only word that's coming up in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Just pure awareness. I know you want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Do you have anything to say to break down? You don't? Well, I think this is the last question that I have. Just basically bringing it all home and just understanding the duality of love. So, do you feel as though that this whole experience broaden your perspective of what it means for love to be a superconductor, not only just in a positive scale, but like, what are the ways that love can be a superconductor in a low vibrational way?
I would say, allowing fear to, guide you, And I definitely did so in this marriage where I allowed fear of self, fear of power, fear of, healing, just to kind of guide me in every direction it seems. So I would say that, allowing fear to really just overtake me, you know, made me make decisions that didn't necessarily make sense, but it was all out of love. But it was fear based. And that wasn't beneficial. It was definitely low vibrational. It was definitely something that held me back from my own healing, from love in itself, from being who I'm supposed to be.
I say it's a great answer.
I would say love can be a superconductor, not trying to be all deep, which is not that deep, but not trying to go to chakras and all that. But I feel like whenever we got into this marriage, and when a lot of people get into relationships, the love is from the root chakra. And so you bond and you trauma bond and you bond off of the pain, the anxiety, the fear, the trauma, the excitement, the passion. Um, and in that love, you can manifest a lot of things. And that love is actually very territorial. So the strongness of that love makes it feel strong. It's not that it's not strong, but it's not that it is that strong, because it's actually a fear based off of detachment, but a fear and of the loss of the attachment. And so when you think about love from the heart space, from the green vibration of love, obviously that is love, the type of love that heals together. The type of love that when it goes around other people, it's actually inviting the vibration of healing, of growth, of shadow work, of light work in that way. And then you have the vibration of love, like we talk about the pink vibration with the rose quartz, that is just pure love, to where now you're just illuminating that. And so that is the goal of what we wanted to go through in the marriage, was that that process all the way up to that pink vibration, that vibration of just pure love. But I feel like, we got stuck, and I'm saying as a whole in the marriage, between the root chakra and the heart space. So stuck in the sacral and the solar, aspects of things, and going back down, to the root chakra, and then rushing up to the heart space, just like abusing the heart space, and back down to the root. And so I would say that superconductor can be very traumatic to your energetic body, and it doesn't teach you anything. It just makes you just overly, feel these surges of energy that make you feel broken, depressed, that actually create impulsive actions. And at the end of the day, you're not healing. You're just like, it's like somebody that's doing cocaine every day. You're just constantly putting yourself through this cycle of this dopamine hit that is not beneficial. You know what I'm saying, to your body.
Yeah, you say we ain't gonna talk about the chakras. I always say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just meeting people in general always starts by way of the chakras. You know what I'm saying? It always starts in the root. It always starts in the survival mentality. Can I trust this person? Can they this? Can they that? Then it goes up to the sacral. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Now we can flow creativity. You know what I'm saying? Then we can feed off each other confidently, show each other love, speak our truth. You know what I'm saying? See a purpose and then execute it with a crown on our head. You dig? So I'm just grateful for that. Grateful for both of y'all just teaching me. You know what I'm saying? Like just giving me preparation and downloads and shadow codes and things like that, even just for my personal life, because there's a lot of things, even if you're not in a relationship, there's a lot of things that you could just utilize from this whole dialogue today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely grateful for both of y'all, man. Is there anything that y'all would like to say or add or ask me or ask each other or the tribe source?
I guess I would just say that love is an amazing thing, that you shouldn't run from. And, you know, the first love that you need to conquer is self-love. Get get that self-love before you try to love another person, as well as don't allow fear to ruin love for you, whether it's for self or for your marriage or for, friendships or, whatever relationship that you want to have. Don't allow fear to, rule it, because, fear is definitely something that will help you destroy love.
Mm. Gratitude, for that message. Definitely. That's real, and y'all really respect those words. And understand it's nothing light about it. You know what I'm saying? So my final words are actually going to be through my passion. I do a lot of my shadow work through music, through writing, um, and these what I'm actually about to play are not just like very new records or nothing like that. Me and Tay are, you know, um, in a very beautiful vibration of healing. We respecting the vibration of what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not always pretty, but we gotta respect that too. But it's not, so it's no beef. So I make make let it be known that these songs are not to be made as a projection on her of negativity or of that. Right now, I'm playing these songs because I'm mad at her. I feel some type of way. No, like we're on here right now because we are best friends. And I do love her. She do love me. And we are actually embarking on something that we thought was impossible, which is one of the most beautiful parts of our life. And we're not gonna necessarily be in the same vibration that we thought we were. But this is actually the sacrifice that needs to be made for us to what's going on. This happened the whole episode.
Soul chakra.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
I just put the incense on too.
Gratitude. And so this is actually the opportunity for us to actually, release. We're doing what we're doing right now in the physical realm on her with y'all and expressing this truth and being vulnerable to y'all, but also energetically we are releasing. We are doing this for us. You know what I'm saying? As much as we love y'all. So I just want to let y'all know it's no weird energy, no weird vibes, and just know when you separate or when you and somebody have a situation, it don't gotta be beef. It don't gotta be drama. If you love that person, then why do you have to create a reason to hate them when y'all are in transition, even if you hurt each other? Because if the love was real, then the love is still real. So in that situation, in love, and that's what we're doing. I love her. I wish the best for her. She wished the best for me, and it's not no beef. And I'm saying I have to stop, like almost just like and just have this moment for neuromelanated people, because we like to argue and drama, and all the songs we hear in the community when people are separating or doing that, it's always toxic. F that nigga, F that B. That ain't how the gods and goddesses gotta move. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Big patch.
So I'm gonna play one record. It's called Perseverance, and then I'm actually going to end it with like a spoken word type of vibe, and then we're gonna rock out. We will be live on YouTube. I mean, be live on Instagram. What we doing, bro? Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 6 p.m. EST live on Instagram after this episode.
Don't tap in, tribe. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can chop it up with us. Ask any questions, and we can just vibe. You know what I'm saying?
I say. All right, let's get it.
Baby, I tried. Searching for options, but it's all toxic. Don't feel right about it, plus it don't feel right without you. It's like watching a flower blossom, watching it die cause it don't know its value. It's crazy cause we the realest love that I ever knew. I came to you thinking everybody's fake except you. Damn, I guess that wasn't true. That's cold. This is not a diss, please can I vent? You play different roles like a movie script. So how me leaving still got me filled with guilt. I'm trying to figure it out. Love a trip. I did everything I could to get us all good, but that's your shadow work, I can't do it. This is my shadow work and I do it through music. How is this love when it feel abusive? Gratitude to you for giving me this opportunity to be able to heal right with you right in front of you. I've been faking for years just to have you here. Truth is, it is so unfair. I ain't playing the perfect role, you know I did my share. I've been waiting for love to reappear. We had some long talks and you hurt me cause you hurt. Maybe this would never happen if I could've loved you first. For your mama and your father, before the world could change the child. Cause they didn't see your broken smile, now you escaping through a smile. And you still do it now. I told you I'd help you heal. I just can't sabotage my life for something that's not real. After being presented with my biggest fear. Yeah. And that's crystal clear. Lighting this Palo Santo as I write this verse. I'm proud of you. I see you doing your shadow work. It's tribulation ignited your soul search. Now look how source work. They say true love. I never thought of the idea of having to love somebody so much that you gotta let them go. Or to love myself so much that I would let go of something that I love so much. Sources experiencing change and transformation through my life. Imagine Superman getting portrayed by Lois Lane. Reminders I came from the mud when I see the rain. My circle used to be full of blood like a vein, but now I got my tribe. Now watch us elevate. I can't fold, I won't bend, and I could never break. I'm joyful for the breath of life. I'm thankful for another day. Crying by my daughter because I'll never get to see her face. Skirt the love because so much I love got taken away. If loving you a crime, I did time just to beat the case. But I don't force, I just let source lead the way. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and I'm going to win the race. Damn, that made me feel away. As I search and I search. On another planet, I had to leave Earth just to find my Earth. Do what they said wouldn't work. Get from around me if you don't want healing. I don't see a ceiling, I just see a billion. On the phone with Kyle, we talking big business. We done been through the fake to become the realest. Might sound silly, but my shadow work the littest. I create shadow dimensions for healing through my intentions. That's just the power of intention. Because I was at a point of no return. I tend to talk a lot, but this had me lost for words. Thought about going back. Shit, I had to fight the urge. I got a reading. She told me I had to cleanse, so I purged. Doctor said the pain in my body could be affecting my nerves. Now I ain't acting funny. I'm just putting me first. That's when I hit him with the step back. Jumping all these timelines. I got jet lag, and I ain't making no excuses. The power of healing, I be scribing through my music. Shadow work became my light work. Talking to source, they understand how life work. Because I went to the dentist and got addicted to perks. In my feelings, I keep seeing Lockie on the shirt. Spiritually, I know that he alive, but it hurt. Feeling bad because I ain't wrote tie, but I can write a verse. Granting in a pen, I can't write her because I'm lost for words. I'm not saying that's what she deserved. I don't drink, but lately life a blur. Sometimes you gotta set flames to the pain. That's the cure. And if ever I disappear, it ain't personal. I just can't let nothing interfere. It's been a hard 31 years. And the next 31 gonna be beautiful because we still here.
So all I'm asking is pray for me. Hold space for me. If I need you, show grace to me, because we all know I love gracefully.